Today I'll be informing you about Luxembourg. It's one of the smallest countries in the world. It's right about here, right between Germany and France. You can't even see it on the map. They can't even fit the name on the map, it's just an X. The country, it's like 80% the size of Rhode Island. It's despite its size, there's a lot of interesting stuff that goes on there, and it's actually really similar to the US. They have a very interesting history, even dating back to like ancient Rome. And then they have most of the same rights we have here. And then that for their goals for like better economics, they're moving towards cleaner, more efficient energy. So for their history, they were originally like the earliest parts that we can find are dating back just like a city-state out in the Roman Empire. Where they would operate independently, but they couldn't really, they couldn't really do their own thing. They kind of still had to listen to Rome. But throughout their history, being part of the Roman Empire, they had 3 emperors come out of there. And in between 1477 and 1815, they had, they were owned by the Habsburg and the French. Finally, and this was after they had become independent in, 1967? No, 967. Okay. And then in 1815, they had become an independent state, but they were still under the control. They got their independence, but then they were under control by the Netherlands. So they were independent, but they were owned by this one, the ruler of the Netherlands, as a war gift, basically. So even though they were independent, this guy, he basically treated Luxembourg like it was his own little toy. So even though they're free, they're everything, they still ended up being oppressed by him. And so eventually when the Netherlands had their own rebellion, Luxembourg supported it and did what they could to continue it. So then in 1867 they gained full independence. And then after that, they were around for both the world wars at that point. So both of them, they got took over by Germany and then freed when the Allies won. After that, they had rebellions because they had a communist rebellion after World War II. The whole Russia thing. They crushed that one out pretty quickly, and then they had another secondary one that was kind of there, but never really fully got off to a start. And they've been in conflicts with NATO because they've been part of the NATO and UN since its founding, pretty much. So any UN war, NATO war, they've been part of it. They only have a population of 600,000, so they're about the size of a US state. Smaller ones. For their human rights, they've got basically all the same as the US. They've got free speech, freedom of the press and everything. Except for theirs aren't guaranteed under their constitution. This is generally respected. And then their police, everything. The only real issues they have is that their government's not fully transparent with what they're doing. So people don't like it because they're a bit more secretive about it, but they haven't actually done anything to oppress any of their people or anything. There's a lot of people that come to work there from out of the country, because with the whole European Union thing, you can kind of freely cross in between countries that are part of the European Union. So you have people who are on the border of France or Germany, whatever, they will go into Luxembourg to work, and they're so genuinely respected, they're treated about the same as everybody else there. And then for their, according to Freedom House, they have a 90 out of 100 on their thing, which it ranks them from how their government functions, how free their government functions, to what human rights they're afforded. And like I said, the only real issue they had with it is their government had a lack of transparency. So you weren't really sure what your government's up to or anything. Their government's a democratically elected thing, so it's the same as ours. You get a bunch of people voting and everything. You have the same political rights, pretty much everybody can vote. I think it's the age of 18, you're allowed to vote. And for their sustainable development goal, according to Hive Power and renewable energy of Luxembourg, they're moving towards basically just more cleaner, more renewable energy. Currently, basically all of their energy is imported like fossil fuels, oil, everything. So their goals by 2030 are to produce 50 to 55% of their greenhouse gas emissions. From 2008 to 2018, Luxembourg's share of renewables and total primary energy supply has more than doubled, so they've gone from 3.3% to 7.5%. They still quite haven't met their energy goals, and with their population growing, it's a bit of a question, like, are they going to be able to obtain them? Because they've set kind of like, drastic goals that they're accomplishable, but they're having big population spikes and everything, so with their population growing, are they going to be able to support their energy goals and also have enough power for their country? Because, like I said, heavy reliance on fossil fuels, they can't fully go off of them because they can't just have their country run out of power. They're going towards windmills, solar power, and that's pretty much it. Okay, that's all.